Hi and welcome to the IT Service Management Mentor. Today I'm going to be talking around organisational structures. So an organisational structure, it's a person or a group of people that has its own function, its own responsibility, its own authority and relationships, all in order to achieve objectives. In an organisation, interaction between people and groups range from value streams to technology to information, data, processes, suppliers and partners. An organisation structure, it allows individuals and functions to create, to deliver and to support services for businesses. There's four main types of organisational structures typically. They're organisational, they are functional, divisional, matrix and flat structures. So let's cover each one off in a bit more detail. Functional, so it's the hierarchy arrangement, it's the historic approach, it's military-like almost. There's organisational controls in place to organise workers. It's a vertical structure of major functions. There's clear lines of authorities. It's split into technical areas or domains. Typically, these groups will be areas of expertise in a function such as the accounts department, people, HR, R&D, technology, sales, claims, underwriting, for example. Those then roll into determining how the power and the roles and the responsibility are formed. The positives and the negatives of each. The functional structure is good for specialisms, it's good for productivity, accountability, clarity. It's not so great in that it sometimes causes segregation. There's perhaps some lack of coordination in there. There's a temptation in some organisations to empire build, and it's not as flexible as some of the other structures. Let's look at divisional. So this is usually seen in larger organisations, but not always. Again, it's a historic approach. It's military-like. There are business activities that are revolving around and are focusing on a specific area. So that might be a market, it might be a product of some kind, or perhaps a particular model of a product, maybe a subset of a product, for example, or it could be a region. It could be a region within the UK, or it could be a global region. It could be EMEA, for example, or US, or APAC. Or just individual countries or territories, or maybe in some cases just a customer type. Each area within that division has its own function, like the previous slide. So you would have an accounts department, HR, people department, R&D, technology, sales, claims, underwriting, all within that division. Positives and negatives. Positive is that you can split off large sections of your organisation. It's almost autonomous. It's good for quick decision making. It's easy to expand. It's module-like. Negatives would be around cost. It can create a culture of internal competitiveness. So you've got different regions competing against each other within an organisation. That sometimes will cause silos, and also perhaps you could look at from a helicopter perspective, what's the overall strategy here? You may have lots of different divisions having their own strategy. Third organisational structure is matrix. So reporting is arranged in a grid format. Think pools of people. So there's pots of people that are available. These people can flex, they can move between different pools. You would normally expect an element of dual reporting. Now that's either going to be reporting into a line manager, reporting into a product or a function, or perhaps a program of works of some kind, or maybe it's a project activity. So we can see here with this diagram I put together, on the left hand side you've got 3 different projects, and then you've got finance, sales, R&D and claims. And for project 1 you may take a person from the finance pool, you may then take a person from the sales pool, you may take a person from R&D, you may take a person from claims. Next project comes along, project number 2, likewise you can take resources from those pools of people. It's good for communication, it's excellent for collaboration, issues are resolved much easier, and it's good for team working. Negatives would be around conflicting priorities. You may be having different priorities that you need to work through as to which ones will you work with. Authority confusion sometimes, and typically you would see more management time allocated to this arrangement in terms of staff management. And then the 4th structure is the flat structure. So it's as it sounds, it is a flat structure. There's either no or heavily reduced reporting lines. So at the extreme you could have everybody reports directly into the CEO. It's great for small companies, perhaps not so good for larger organisations. Pros and cons quickly. Senior management can concentrate purely on the strategy. It's good decision making because you've got people on the ground with that local expertise making those decisions. It's good for motivation. It's good for giving people authority and responsibility. It's clearly defined. Negative would be along the lines of it can be overwhelming. Clearly there's few promotion opportunities. You're either going to be the CEO or not. It's difficult to scale from an organisational perspective, and consistency of decisions sometimes is diluted. Thank you very much. Please do subscribe to my channel.